With us now is our favorite correspondent. She actually is my favorite, but don't tell the rest of the correspondents. It's Debi Silber. Welcome. How are you?
I'm so great. I can't wait to chat with you today.
Me too. But no chairs today. We're not going to be doing any chair fitness, but we are going to be talking about sugar addiction. Tell us about that.
You know, out of all of the ingredients, this is the one that takes us down. There are about a handful of foods that keep us completely powerless. And if we identified those foods and got them out of our lives, we wouldn't struggle with our weight, we wouldn't struggle with our energy, we wouldn't struggle with inflammation, which is at the root of almost every illness and condition there is, and so much more.
Now, you were telling me your clients this past week, straight across the board, sugar's been the problem. Why? Is it like a stress-induced type of thing when we crave it, or what happens?
Well, that's one thing. You know, when we're stressed, we're looking for relief, and we're gonna look in all different kinds of places. When we have certain foods that have high sugar in them, a couple things happen. One is we have a release of serotonin.
Okay.
That gives us that sense of peace and calm. The other is dopamine, which ignites the reward and pleasure centers of our brain. So it's no wonder we're going to look for foods that have these things. But what happens is they're so highly addictive. So and for years, I was telling people, well, you know what? Moderation, everything in moderation. And really, that's like telling an alcoholic, go into a bar and just have less. Or telling a drug addict, just have less. You know, there was a study, I think it was last year, how a certain cookie, I don't want to mention a name, was more addictive than cocaine.
Wow, really?
And that's because sugar is so addictive. So just having less is really creating such a bigger struggle than when we really just find a way to get it out of our lives.
That's what I was going to say. How do you do that? Do you go cold turkey? Is that what you're telling me? Because I will be honest with you, I am a sugar addict. I am. You know, my grandparents sold candy for a living. I have to have chocolate almost every day. I don't know. You know, it's like I always tell people, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't do this, I don't do that. I do chocolate. So.
Well, I'll tell you, I have chocolate every day too, but it's
Okay.
going to be rich, delicious, dark chocolate. It's going to be a little bit.
Okay.
There are ways to do it. You want to set yourself up for it. You know, the cold turkey approach is okay if you're set up for it. I mean, that's exactly, and you know my shakes and bars. That's why I created them. And if we have what's available, we're not at the mercy of what's around.
Okay.
Because you're going to get hungry no matter where you are. So if you have something that's going to be filling and energizing and whole, real, nutrient-dense food, you're not going to be on that roller coaster ride of sugar-induced energy and emotions all day long.
Your bars are really good. Like you have the apple one, which is really yummy, the apple peanut buttery one. But my favorite is the chocolate coconut one, right? So tell us about what's in that. Like what
Sure.
makes that so tasty but still good for you?
Sure, and that was the whole trick. It wasn't really a trick, but it was, how do I get something to be so healthy but taste so good that you don't think you're eating something healthy? And that's also because we shouldn't be dieting. Dieting means there's a beginning and an end. I mean, the way I teach my clients to eat is the way I eat every day for life. There's no on, off, good, bad, all, nothing, black, white. So, well, with the bars, they're 100% organic. They're they're nutrient dense. They're high in fiber. They're high in quality protein. Very low in sugar. Gluten free. They're non-GMO. Really, it's just all packed into it. So all you have to do is unwrap it.
You're right, and it's good. And so this was certainly not to sell your bars. It was just that I personally do like them, and it's a good replacement for me. So things that should be replacing if somebody was there and they were having a craving again would be something that's high in fiber. And what other items?
It should be high in good fat.
Okay.
Quality fat, which is, we're so fat phobic, we need to be as sugar phobic as we are fat phobic. But when I say fat, I mean, I'm talking about like the kind of fat that you find in nuts and avocado and salmon, things like that, olive oil, and those are wonderful for you. And it makes food taste good. And when we eat that way, we feel so nurtured, we feel so taken care of that we don't have that need to keep looking around. When you're having a cereal for breakfast and a sandwich for lunch and pasta for dinner, you are having so much in the way of carbohydrates, your body simply can't process it. So your insulin spikes. I mean, that's at the root of diabetes.
Absolutely.
So it's really just, there are so many alternatives, and I think so many of us just don't know what they are. But if we do, it's not that it's supposed to taste bad. Food should be delicious. We just need to know the right foods to have and just swap them out with the ones that aren't.
And you talk about a lot of raw food, right? You love, you know, your carrots and your veggies and things like that. And I think sometimes that would be okay to have some natural sugars, some natural sweet things.
Oh, sure.
Like a piece of fruit once in a while.
And what happens is when our bodies get so clean because we get off of sugar, you'll taste the sweetness in a carrot. You'll taste the sweetness in beets, things like that. And you taste really just what those nutrients are doing for you. There's whole, real nutrient-dense foods taste so different than packaged and processed and nutrient-void frankenfoods.
Okay, so don't diet, just eat healthier, and everything's going to work out okay. And watch your addictions.
And have fun instead.
And have fun instead. Be addicted to fun.
That's it.
Right? Okay, I think that's a great one. All right, so stay tuned for more on Live It Up. We've been visiting with Debi Silber, our wellness correspondent. And as I told you, she's my favorite. She's probably your favorite too. Thanks for watching.